All right, folks, we are back live from the indoor practice facility. Seems like the season just started the other day. We were standing here doing our first Tuesday Tiger Talk, and now we're getting towards the end of the season. It's crazy. Will, we got to start off today. Dabos' best rant. We're going to do a top 10 rants. That's probably the top rant he's ever done, just the way he mixed in the jokes with the attacks. Talk about what he said about laptop gate.
Yeah, I love the way he started it off because he was asked a question, had Dave Doran reached out to you yet, basically to apologize for cheating, for you accusing you of cheating. And Dabos said no. Actually, even I said he even sounded like a little bit like Andy Griffith, the way he was responding with it. Talking about the investigation and I did, and the way he would say stuff like I did, just the way Andy Griffith would do it. And
most of our audience has no idea.
Actually, I think a lot of our audience does. But so anyway, it was pretty funny there. So if you get a chance to watch it. But then he started talking about investigating the towels that were being stolen, and what were they doing with these towels? They having a towel hall of fame, and kind of went that way. And so we were like, oh, just kind of joking, laughing, and then Dabo got serious, and he got serious fast. And he talked about how he didn't appreciate they attacking the integrity of the Clemson program. And then he started talking about how Dave Doran needs to worry about, the fact that 2 years ago a coach took a shot at Deshaun Watson on the sidelines. Dabo did not like that. Clemson never said anything to him about it. And then this year, when the game after the interception by Kayvon Wallace, another guy takes a swat at Kayvon Wallace's hand as he's holding the ball up in the air because he just made a big play to win the game. And Dabo says, what if he broke a finger? What if he did that? He would have hurt our player, Though he needs to start worrying about his sideline and less about the Clemson sideline. And I thought it was a great rant. If you haven't seen it yet, please go see it.
Yeah, we got it up on the site. His best ever, I think. Just the way he melded everything together was very. The amazing thing was, it was the last question after Tim had already said any more questions. So nobody in the media asked that question. Matt Conley from the state newspaper had to ask that question kind of in overtime. So I'm not sure why nobody asked it before, but luckily it was asked because Dabo was obviously prepared. That wasn't all off the cuff. That was a prepared attack. Gavin, one of the folks we talked to today is Christian Wilkins. Dabo took a little jab at him, talking about his shape he came in at school here as a freshman, and Christian got his chance to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, Christian definitely didn't shoot what Dabo said down. He basically agreed with him, saying, when I got here, I was pretty much just fat and happy. Is the way he put it. And he said, even went to say I was doughy when I came in here. Is one of the ways he put it. And so he really credited Clemson strength and conditioning coach Joey Batson for helping transform his body and get him into shape. He said that his first national championship game 2 years ago against Bama, he said he knew from that point that he had to get into better shape. He didn't feel right physically as good as he knew he could have been. And so today he's a lot better, right around 300 pounds, I think now. So he really Dabo talked about how he's become more cut, and Christian said, yeah, ripped is good. I think Christian wants to be maybe labeled more as sexy, I think.
Well, he talked about being sexy.
And so he was like ripped is good, sexy is more of an art. So ripped is good, I'll take it. so Christian had some funny stuff to say about that, but he's in a lot better shape now than he was 2 years ago when he first came in, that's for sure.
All right, Will. Lots of other players, more Dabo. What's the other big topic sticks out for you?
Well, I thought Dabo really talking about Ray McLeod and his maturation, and when A.J. Terrell got injured there right at the end of the game, I don't know if you went back and watched it, but I did. But they immediately had Ray ready to go, and they're like, Ray, get out there. And then a change as they're all NC State's trying to get down the field and to set up the next play because the clock's running. Here you see Terrell hurt, he goes out, and you see Ray just come straight off the sideline and looking straight at Brent Venables to get the call, and he was ready. And that was the thing that impressed me, was he was ready, and he was going up against their number one wide receiver at the same time. The first pass the guy made a big play, but after that, the next two times he was covered, and that Finley actually even had to throw the ball out of bounds one time because Ray had him covered so well. And so Ray was ready to go. He looked good, and Dabo talked about how the question was, were you nervous putting him in? And Dad was like, no, because we've been practicing him all year for this moment. And so he came in, he was ready to play, and got his team in position there. And then Dabo talked about his punt return, how huge that was. Obviously, it was a game-changing play for Clemson because right now at that point they needed something to get them going, and that absolutely did the trick for them. And so we've been seeing it with Ray, the last couple of years. You just know he's on the cusp, and I think finally he is there, and he's become now one of those guys that Dabo Sweeney talked about his maturation, a guy he can count on because he knows he's mature enough to handle it.
Well, and Ray, a guy that could have a huge impact down the stretch as Clemson tries to make another playoff run. Hunter Renfro had a few comments to ask him about Ray, and he wasn't surprised they played him, but he was shocked to see that Ray was out there on the last series of the game. He said, well, I guess it worked out because they didn't score. Deion talked a little bit about going against Ray too. They used to do that back in Florida, the receiver, DB, and so there's some pretty good rivalry there. But we'll probably see maybe more of that down the stretch. Actually, I kind of hope not, because that means the other guys are getting healthy. Gavin, 2 days of interviews here, Florida State week, coming off a big win. What's the vibe you've got in the last couple days?
Well, I really get the sense that Clemson is really respecting Florida State heading into this. I mean, we're hearing all the talk about, throw the records out the window, and I really think Clemson is buying into that. I mean, Dabos talked a lot about the coaches have really kind of put that in their minds. Hey, Florida State's record is not indicative of the type of performance they're going to come out. They're going to try to come out and give you their best shot. They're going to be motivated. This is their Super Bowl. They're coming in here looking to spoil your playoff hopes because they came in with playoff hopes, and so they don't want to see their interdivision rival go on to bigger and better things. So they're coming in here motivated, and I'm really getting the sense that the Clemson players are respecting Florida State, and they know that they have a lot of talent. They know that Clemson was recruiting a lot of these guys, and they know that some of those guys could play at Clemson. So there's no question in the talent. I think the players realize that, and I think this is a game that's easy to get up for, just a interdivision rivalry. I think I'm just really getting the sense that they're motivated. They're not taking Florida State for granted. They know they're going to get their best shot, and they're ready to give Florida State their best shot. So.
Yeah, Dabo hit on that as well. Talked about the recruiting rankings, how Florida State's always a little bit ahead of Clemson. So these guys know that the talent that's on the other side of the field coming into the Valley this weekend. Will's motioning. He wants to talk.
Well, because and I give Alex Dodd the credit to remind all of us for this. This is the eighth year of the anniversary where Clemson won its first division over Florida State. And remember, every year since Dabos Sweeney, even when he was the interim head coach, it's either been Florida State or Clemson playing in the ACC championship game. The Tigers have a chance to keep that streak going this year. Of course, it's kind of ironic. Florida State can be the team that ruins it for them. So it's going to be fun. And like Gavin was saying, I think all the players realize that. And Florida State's good enough to ruin it.
They're not good enough to run it.
One thing Dabo's kind of put in their minds, too, is that this time last year they had a chance at home to clinch the division against Pittsburgh, and we all know how that ended. Yeah. So that's kind of something he's kind of reminding them of heading into this one, too.
I think Will missed Alex's offensive stats for Florida State that he talked about a little bit earlier, but offensive stats for Florida State are putrid. So good defense, terrible offense, Death Valley, good formula. We'll have lots of coverage on this all week long. Hopefully we'll be talking about another Atlantic Division Championship Saturday night. And stay tuned to TCI. We got lots of stuff headed your way this weekend.